This here is probably the most innovative light I've seen in a long time, and it's also super tiny. Besides being incredibly versatile, it's got a few very unique features that truly make it stand out from the rest. So in this video, we're taking a closer look at what it can do, everything that comes in the kit, and as a bonus, we'll also take a look at a few lighting setups with only 2 of these tiny lights. Now, full disclosure, this video is sponsored by Godox, but I get to say whatever I want, so not only the positives, because I actually do have a few criticisms about this light, which we'll also talk about. Alright, let's get into it. The lights we're looking at are the Godox MS60R. It's a very compact 60-watt light, and you can buy this as a single light, a 2-light kit, or a 4-light kit. There's a bicolor version and an RGBWW version. I have the 2-light RGBWW kit right here. It comes packed neatly in this small flight case, which I already love how nicely everything is packed away in this small but sturdy case. First off, we've got the 2 lights here. They're in the case with a standard focusing lens already attached, and this one comes off and onto the cob really easily, kind of like a Bowens mount, but this is a Godox proprietary mount. Now, I usually don't like proprietary mounts, but with this kit, it's not a real issue, and you'll see why throughout this video. Godox did let me know that they have a Bowens adapter that fits this MS60R. They also have a removable stand mount, which is great because it gives you the option as to how you can mount this light. And I also just want to mention that this stand mount is a very nice metal build quality in comparison to the plastic ones you often see on other small lights. Next, there's a set of lens filters that are stacked up right here, and this is something you don't actually see very often on video lights. They are inspired by Godox photography flashlights, and a nice little detail here is that there is a handy reference card in the case, so you don't have to memorize what each one does. And these can create a softer light, they can change the beam angle of the light, or also change the shape of the light. And they attach magnetically to, for example, that focusing lens. Over here you can see we have 2 zoom lenses which kind of work like a mini Fresnel, and this one also goes onto the light similarly with that same Bowens style attachment. And this zoom lens gives you an adjustable beam control from 15 to 30 degrees. And there's even another attachment available for this zoom lens, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Next, there are 2 proprietary batteries right here, and these just snap onto the back of the light, and then you've got a very compact power setup. They charge over USB-C and have an indicator light to show you how much power there's left. Now, if we take this part out of the case, we'll find even more accessories underneath. First off, 2 more batteries. Yes, you get 4 batteries with this 2-light kit, which is of course great because you can always have 2 on charge while you're using the other 2. And as far as runtime on these batteries, you'll get about 50 to 60 minutes with the light at full power. Now, if you don't want to use proprietary batteries, there's also a few other options to power these lights. They have another attachment which goes on the back the same way, and that'll give you the option to just hardwire these lights. You can use either the included AC power cable, but you also have the option to use USB-C. Now, a little note here, you also have USB-C directly on the light, so without this attachment. So that means you can use a compatible power bank or USB-C battery to power the MS60. And there is even another way to power these lights, and that is if you purchase this additional NPF battery adapter. So if you like using these types of batteries, you have that option as well. Moving on, we've got these things right here, which are actually another way to power these lights. This is an E27 attachment, and I've honestly never seen this on a light like this before. So this attaches to the back of the light to that power attachment we just saw, and now you can put the MS60 into an E27 socket, whether it's a ceiling light or a table lamp. And this opens up a ton of possibilities for using this tiny light. Also in the bottom of the case, we've got 2 plastic half-dome diffusers. These magnetically attach and you can get a bit of a softer light. There's also these attachments for when you want to use the light bare bulb. It again uses that proprietary Bowens style mount. And you can actually also use this to attach the barn doors to the zoom lens. I'm not sure if Godox intended it this way, but it works. In the top of the case, there are these 2 compartments right here, and we'll find 2 snoots that you can attach to the light like so. There's also 2 barn doors in there. These magnetically attach to either the focusing lens or to that other bare bulb attachment. There are also 2 tiny softboxes in here that come with this kit. One is a rectangular softbox that also has a grid. The other one is a small parabolic softbox, and this one also comes with a grid. So it's obvious that Godox really put a lot of thought into this kit, and they've included pretty much anything in here for every possible scenario for how you could use these lights. But there is even more. There are even more accessories you can purchase additionally to use with this light and make it even more versatile. The first one I want to show you is this DL5 spot attachment. This attaches to that zoom lens we looked at before. There's a ring on the back of this spot and you put that into the zoom lens. Then on the zoom lens there is this mechanism that uses a lever to lock the spot attachment into place. And this configuration gives you a super tight 5-degree spot. For a light this small and only 60 watts, that's pretty impressive and will put out quite a lot when you want to use this as an accent light, for example. Another really exciting modifier you can get for the MS60 is this projection mount. This one is a 50-degree spotlight, which is also something you don't see very often. But again, it makes so much sense because now you have a super compact setup that you can easily hide in smaller spaces for adding light texture to a scene with the different included gobos or throwing in a controlled spot of light somewhere. I also have this parallel beam reflector here, which concentrates the light even more into a very narrow, powerful, and far-reaching beam. So it's great that with this light, you've got a huge ecosystem of modifiers to do pretty much whatever you want with these. All right, now that we've gone over what comes in the box and a few of the extra accessories, let's go ahead and look at the different ways you can control this light and the different light modes. On one side of the MS60, you'll find a hard on-off switch, which is great if you want to keep these lights mounted somewhere more permanent or high up. Then you can just turn on and off the light from the power outlet. On the other side, you'll find the main controls. There's this scroll wheel to scroll through all the menus and adjust your settings by scrolling up or down and then pushing it to select something. Under the mode button, you'll find all the different light modes. We've got CCT mode where you can set the light from 1800 Kelvin all the way to 10,000 Kelvin, which is really a great range of color temperature on this small light. You've also got your green magenta shift here, which is nice to have. Then there's HSI mode where you can set your different hues and saturation. Next we've got gel mode where you'll find a huge range of different gel options, and as you can see, they've really put a ton of possibilities in here for whatever you might need. In RGBW mode, you can set the different red, green, and blue values to create whatever color you might want. XY mode is where you can adjust your X and Y coordinates on the color spectrum, so another option of selecting the exact color you want. And lastly, there's the effects mode where you're going to find all of your typical effects: lighting, TV, fire, party, and so on. And you can then adjust all the different settings for that specific effect mode as well. Next to the mode button, we've got a menu button. Here you're able to access your DMX settings and your CRMX settings. You've got Bluetooth settings, dimming curve settings, smoothing settings, control mode. You can set your color space here, and you can change the fan settings from off to auto, medium, or high. It also has this anti-false touch option in the menu. Then when you turn the light on, you have to scroll this wheel before it actually goes on, so you won't accidentally turn on the light if you have it in a bag, for example. Then we have fixture number, display brightness, language settings, factory reset, and fixture info. And a cool thing about this display is when you are using this light with the battery, the display is going to show you in hours and minutes how much power you have left or how long you'll be able to use the light at that given output, which is super handy. Now you can also control this light with the Godox app, and this has all the functions you'll find on the light, but of course makes it way easier to adjust your settings. You can, for example, pick your color on the color wheel, or you can see what the different gels look like, which can be very helpful. Plus, there's also this color picker option in case you need to recreate an exact color from a product or anything like that. All right, now with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at a few lighting setups, and then I want to share a few concerns I have about this light. All right, so the first light we've got going on here is the MS60R, and I've attached it to the lamp here. So this is just a ceiling lamp, and I just screwed the light in there. And you can see I've got the barn doors on here. Originally, I had the dome diffuser on there. Let me just show you what that looked like this. And you can tell right away we get a lot more diffusion of the light, but we also get a lot more spread And I wanted to control the light a little bit more and not to have it hit the kitchen here too much. So that's why I put on the barn doors and then I closed them down. So we get just a beam of light coming down here. And obviously this is bouncing off the kitchen a little bit, so giving us a little bit of fill in the shadows here. The second light we have for this setup is actually in the fridge here. Let's have a look. So here we have another MS60R, and you can tell this is pretty much the size of a Coke can or something. So this fits in the fridge really nicely, or in any other small space. And I've got the battery attached here, so I don't need any cables running out of the fridge, which allows me to open and close the fridge really easily. I've also got the dome diffuser on here because I do want a little bit more spread, and I'm pointing it away from the camera into the wall of the fridge so we get a little bit more spread in the fridge here as I open that fridge. The advantage of using a light like this and not, for example, the fridge light, because there is a fridge light in here, is that obviously I've got control over the light. I can control the intensity, control the color, and I can do that again with the Godox app here. So I've got it set to this orange gel here, which then contrasts really nicely to the teal green color here from the light on the ceiling. And then one more thing we have going on. We've got a little bit of light from the bathroom here, and that's just spilling a little bit in the hallway, so it's not completely dark. And again, it creates even more contrast. So we got a little bit of orange here, we got green back there, and then we've got orange again coming from the fridge. All right, let's have a look at this lighting setup. We've got the two MS60R again, one of which is mounted right here. And I'm just using a super clamp to mount it on one of the pipes over there. And that's just the cool thing about small battery powered lights like this. You can mount them wherever you need them, and you don't even need a power cable. You don't need a light stand. All you need is a simple super clamp, a pipe or whatever where you can mount it, and you've got it where you need it. I've got the mini dome, like the little dome diffuser on there, and then I've got it at a bad bulb effect, and then a green tint because that fits really well with our next light right here, which is simply the light in the hallway right here, and that just has a very orange tone to it, which contrasts really well with the green here. And then our third light is the other MS60R. We've got that one outside on a light stand as high as I could get it, and that's got the little Fresnel, the zoom lens on there, and that's just flooding through the gate here, which creates this nice pattern on the floor. And that just looks really cool because we get this nice light pattern at the bottom of the frame. We get a lot of contrast, color contrast between the green, the orange, and a little bit of blue in here as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually a very simple lighting setup, but I think this is probably my favorite. So for this little scene, I'm actually using the MS60R as a practical as well as a key light. So I have it mounted in here in this table lamp, again using that E27 attachment for power. Because I'm using this as a key light, I want the light to be relatively soft. So that's why I have the dome diffuser on there, but also the lampshade is softening that light as well. So it works really well as a key light. Now I have this one set at 2800 Kelvin and at 27%, so plenty bright to serve as a key light. I don't want to overpower it anyway because I still want it to be natural as a practical as well. So I'm using a little piece of cloth here to block some of the light from the back here, from the top as well, because it was spilling on this wall here and a little bit here as well. and I wanted to stop that, so I used this piece of cloth here, black cloth, to block some of that light. Ideally, I would obviously use cinefoil, but I don't have any cinefoil at home right now, so this black cloth would have to do. And the second MS60R you can see right here, so that's lighting the hallway back here, so let's go and have a look. So here we have that second MS60R with the spotlight or projection attachment on there, and then we have a window gobo in there, and that's creating this light on the wall here. So this is what that looks like from the side of the light. So you can see I only have it at 0.7%, and I have this set at a cooler temperature, I think 6700 Kelvin, and that's creating this nice blue light on the background there. And then obviously because of that spotlight, because of the gobo, we get a nice window pattern on the wall. Alright, those are just a few quick examples to show you how versatile these lights are with their size, different power options, and different modifiers. You can really get so much done with just this little compact kit, and I think that's something that you often want or even need on a set. Now, if we look at the pricing, the 2-light kit that we've talked about in this video costs $1,299 US. The 4-light kit goes for $2,499, and this one even includes a few more accessories. So for what you get in one kit, the lights, the power, the modifiers, the portability, and the reliability, I really think the value is extremely strong here. Now with that said, there are a few things that I would love to see Godox improve on with these MS60R lights. It would have, for example, been nice to have the Bowens adapter in the kit to really make it complete. Now that said, there are so many modifiers available already that it's not really a huge issue. Also, I wish there was a better solution for charging all 4 batteries at once. The kit comes with this AC power splitter. You can plug that into the wall socket, and from there plug that into 2 AC adapters, and then plug the battery adapters into those with USB-C, which is just a little bit cumbersome, and you can only charge 2 batteries at once. Obviously, if you have a multi-USB charging device, you can just charge them like that, which is what I would personally do. But it would have been cool if there was something in the kit to charge all 4 batteries at the same time. Aside from that, I think the Godox MS60 truly are one of the most interesting small lights on the market right now. It's tiny, super versatile, with thoughtful design choices, and backed by a wide range of accessories. The 2-light kit or the 4-light kit is basically a complete lighting system in and of itself, but if you'd, for example, add one larger key light to complement it, you're pretty much set for a very wide range of different lighting scenarios. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you have any questions about this light, definitely drop them down in the comments, and if you want to check it out for yourself, there will be a link down below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!